everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Let's see what we got today. All right, question number 1. Does President Trump pay for his round of golf when he's at one of his own golf courses? No. Are you serious? No. That's the beauty of owning a property. Not only does he not pay for his own round of golf, he also doesn't pay for any food there. You know why? Because he already paid for it, because he built the property, he owns it, and he's already paid for everything going in. Now, here's what he does do. You may have heard these stories about President Trump. They're true. Are you ready for this? He walks around with a wad of cash, like a huge wad of cash, and he doesn't matter where he is. He will constantly. He could go back in the kitchen. He could go, down to the caddy room. He'll literally come in with just his hundreds, passing them out, handing them out to people. Great job. You're doing a great job. He'll go around to the whole staff in like the grill rooms and whatever. That's how he rolls. That's how he operates. So no, he's not paying for his rounds of golf at his own golf course. But he is tipping everybody very well, making sure they know that they're appreciated, making sure that they're on top of things. And if you're on top of things, he sees you and he rewards you for it. And that goes far beyond any of his properties. I'm just telling you, that's just how he is. He wants to make sure that he takes care of his people, and he appreciates good hard work. So, yeah, he's paying in other ways, believe me. Okay, next question. Why are so many young people identifying as socialist or communist in America? How can they ignore the disastrous failed policies? Yeah, you're right. Failed policies is the appropriate way to talk about this. Socialism and communism has never worked anywhere it has ever been tried. Go around the world, go take a look at Cuba, go take a look at the USSR, Venezuela. Go ask them how all of this played out. Go ask how things have gone, how much the people liked giving over all of their money, all of their hard work, all of their resources to the government. Ask how they liked going into a grocery store and not being able to buy everything they wanted, being limited in what they could buy. You know why? Because the government ran the grocery store. Oh, I mean like how Mom Donnie wants to do in New York City. That's right. You guys better pay attention in New York City. Why are so many young people falling for this? Well, I think there are a couple of reasons. First of all, young people are generally very heavily influenced by emotion. And whenever you come at them with the Democrat left-leaning talking points, it's all emotion-based. You ever notice that? It's not based in fact or reality or truth. It's based in emotion. It feels good to say, you know what? We're going to do everything for free. Everything is free. This is free, that's free. But it's not free forever, because eventually you run out of other people's money. Isn't that what, the famous line is, or whatever, something to that extent? Eventually you do. You run out of everybody's money at some point. It will happen in New York City if Mom Donnie is voted in. You're going to see a lot of the people who are, the top earners in New York City leaving New York City. These are the top taxpayers. I don't know where he thinks he's getting all this money, but they're very idealistic and they're very emotionally charged whenever, you're a young kid. You also have had zero actual world experience. So it's very easy to say, like, open the borders, let them in, get everything for free, this, that, and the other. Then you get out in the real world and it smacks you in the face. The other famous line is, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. That's Mike Tyson who said that. And that's what happens when you get out in the real world. You start paying taxes, you start having to earn your own money, you start having to, get a mortgage or whatever it is. You start realizing that the way you pictured things going, this sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows version of things doesn't really exist. But it's very easy to manipulate these young kids, and so that's what's happened over the course of time. Now, here's the good news. There are a lot of kids who aren't falling for that, right? The old jazz hands of the Democrats, socialists, communists, they're not falling for it anymore. You've seen a huge shift, especially with young men, moving more conservative. We saw it during the 2024 election. There was this huge shift, and it's continuing to happen. And I think that as we're giving people more available resources for their information, like right here on this show. You don't have to rely on the New York Times of the world, the mainstream media, to get your information anymore. You can come to people's podcasts. You can go out there and you can search for anything you want. And you're going to get a different viewpoint than you might get from some of those outlets. And so I think we are moving in a better direction on that, but it's easy when you're young and inexperienced and have no idea what happens in the real world, to buy into some of these ideas. But you have to ask these people, well, how does it go long term? None of them will ever be able to answer that for you. And again, I would just say, check out anywhere in the world they've tried this stuff. It doesn't work. Okay, next question. How much butter is too much? I put it on my pancakes. I like it much better than syrup. Oh my God, whoever you are, I 100% agree with this. Do you know we don't even have syrup in my house? Nothing. Absolutely not. First of all, the only kind I would ever get would be the pure real maple syrup. I feel like Bobby Kennedy could subscribe to that. That's some natural stuff. The other stuff, whatever they're putting in it, I'm sure is just trash. Remember there was one I remember when I was a kid. Maybe it must have been, I don't know the brand, but it came in a container, and on the container you put plastic container. Imagine this. You put the whole thing in the microwave, you turn it on, and there was a little box on the front that when it turned red showed you that the syrup was heated up and it was hot. What kind of chemicals was we were dumping in our bodies? But I agree with you on the butter, on pancakes. That's all I put on them in my house whenever we make pancakes. I only put butter on there, no syrup whatsoever. I don't even think we have like jam or jelly in our house. We're not into any of that. It's so much better. And you ask how much is too much? Let me tell you something. If you're just going straight, pure, regular, good old-fashioned butter, we're not talking margarine, any of that stuff. Margarine is one of the worst things, by the way. Do you know this? That you can actually put in your bodies. It's awful for you. Remember back in the 90s, like the I Can't Believe It's Not Butter age and the country crock and all that stuff? Terrible for you. Real pure butter, I really have no problem with. Now, I think your body might reject a certain amount of butter. I wouldn't advise going overboard on it. It is very calorie heavy, fat laden, but it's real. It's straight, from nature, generally speaking, right? You have to churn it to get it to that consistency. But yeah, I have no problem with butter. I'm a butter fan. I would opt for butter or olive oil all day long. I would never use any of that, the spray stuff. You know what we use at my house? If I'm cooking, I use coconut oil. At room temperature, like in a warm room, our AC broke for a part of a week this summer. All the coconut oil was just liquid in my kitchen, which was kind of nice. I just dumped it in. You can use it. Great for cooking. Gives a little added flavor to things. I'm going to tell you, use the coconut oil, use the butter, use olive oil for whatever you're doing. I think you're going to be fine. No problem here with the butter, so keep it up. Good stuff. As a mom, I'm always looking for something that I can actually watch with my family. Something that's more than just noise in the background, because you guys all know what I'm talking about, right? Sketch really surprised me, and in the best sort of way. Sketch is the newest film from Angel Studios, and it does exactly that. It follows a young girl who loses her sketchbook in a mysterious pond, and from there, her drawings begin to come to life. But they're not just characters, they're her emotions, her struggles, and her imagination all tangled together. It's so imaginative, it's so creative, but it's also got heart, which we could all use more of. It reminds me of those movies that I loved growing up, the ones that made you feel something and left you smiling at the end. Remember those? Sketch opens up in theaters August 6th, and you can get 2 free tickets at angel.com/Lara. It's the kind of story that stays with you and sparks meaningful conversations with your kids long after the credits roll. A major retail chain just canceled a massive order, leaving MyPillow with an overstock of classic MyPillows, and now it's your gain. For a limited time, MyPillow is offering their entire classic collection at true wholesale prices. Get a standard MyPillow for just $17.98. Want more? Upgrade to queen size for only $22.98 or king size for $24.98. Snag body pillows for $29.98 and versatile multi-use pillows for just $9.98. Visit mypillow.com and use promo code TRUMP or call 800-624-3945 to score these amazing deals. Plus, when your order totals $75 or more, you'll receive $100 in free digital gifts. No strings attached. That's right, premium pillows at unbeatable prices and bonus gifts to top it off. Don't wait. Head to mypillow.com or call 800-624-3945 now. And don't forget to use promo code TRUMP to grab your standard MyPillow for only $17.98 while supplies last. Okay, next question. What do you think of the Trump-Putin meeting in Alaska? Yeah, this is great. I think this is great news for the president. I think this is great news for hopefully Ukraine and hopefully for Russia as well. If there's one president who can broker this peace deal, it's President Donald Trump. We all know that. No one else would even have a shot at this. And it's been tough. He's acknowledged that it's been much tougher than he anticipated. Now, I'll remind everyone of there have been 12 countries with wars, some of them only 5 days, some of them 4 decades, that Donald Trump, in his first 6 months in office, has completely dissolved. He's brought peace to these places. Want me to read them all off? Here we go. I'm going to read them all off for you because I just talked about it. We saw last week Armenia and Azerbaijan. That war's been going on for almost 40 years, maybe more than 40 years, 45 years, something like that. Israel and Iran, 12-day war. We know about that. India and Pakistan, that was heating up. Donald Trump knocked it right out. Cambodia and Thailand, 5-day war. That's done. I just said that. Rwanda and Congo, Egypt and Ethiopia. These are all wars that have been settled, conflicts and skirmishes that have been settled by this president, okay? So if there's anyone who's going to be able to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, a war that, as he says, should have never started, that never would have started had he been president, it's this man, President Trump. So I'm very optimistic. I think it's great. I don't know. Putin's tough. Zelensky's tough. You know, the president says that one of them will give a little and then the other will say, but I need this. And they kind of go back and forth. He's hoping for the best. I'm hoping for the best. And I think, you know, I do believe we'll see an end to this, hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully it starts on Friday in Alaska. Why did I think they were meeting in Russia? Maybe they're meeting close. Yeah, in between in Alaska. Anyway, I think it's going to end, and I think President Trump will go down in history as the president of peace, and he better get a Nobel Peace Prize. He should already have 6 right now for the ones I just read out. And don't forget how he had the most historic, Middle East peace agreement, the Abraham Accords, during his first term in office. Didn't get a Nobel Peace Prize for that. But yeah, I'm optimistic. I feel good about it. I think that we could see some good stuff coming out of this, but it'll be up to Putin, up to Zelensky, and obviously the mediator, President Donald J. Trump. Let's see. Okay, final question. What's the strangest food combination you've ever tried and actually liked? I'm trying to think of this. I mean, I'm trying to think if I've eaten a lot of strange food combinations. I mean, I love a salty sweet. I love none of this is going to be maha, but let's just do it. I love like a potato chip, a salty chip with like a chocolate coating on top. Have you ever had one of those? I'm here for that. I can do some of that. I used to go to Wendy's back in college and get Frosty and also get the fries, and you dip the fries in the Frosty. Or you kind of do it with the McFlurry at McDonald's as well. That kind of thing. I'm into all of that. Salty and sweet. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? You know what I love? This is maybe not what you're talking about. I love that popcorn that's the caramel and the cheddar. Who would have thought those go together? But again, salty and sweet. Big fan of that. Now, you feel pretty bad after you eat too much of that. And the problem with those, when I get that, and I try not to get it, the ones you get, there's some place in the Chicago airport that I've gotten those like cans of, you know what I'm talking about, the popcorn. It's delicious stuff. Whatever that company is, I think it's from Chicago. But you get addicted to it. And then once you reach a point, and I'm like, oh, I ate too much, but then it's way too late, and you just kind of feel bad for several hours afterward. But it's delicious. I'll say that. I recently, Eric and I went to Vietnam a couple months ago, and there were some very interesting things that they served us there. I'll be really honest. Some of them I didn't recognize. Some just kind of pushed around the plate. Wasn't sure what I was eating and wasn't ready to find out in those moments. When you're overseas, you're not at home. I don't know what the access is to like medical care. I don't know what's going to happen. I try to eat very strategically when I go to other countries. Until you get back here to America, it's another reason to love this country. I know I could go out to a CVS. I could go to a Walgreens and pick up some Tums if I need it. I don't know what they got going on overseas. We were just over in Scotland not too long ago. And what was it I asked for? And they gave me the strangest thing over there. Like, no shade to Scotland. Loved it. But it's just different. It's just different whenever you come back to America. You feel better. You feel good. You can get what you need over here. So I'm not trying anything weird overseas. So maybe that wasn't the greatest answer to your question. But I love salty and sweet. So any ideas for that, you guys can send me. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Make sure you send us more posts under this episode. Go to any of our social media and send us your questions there. And until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And we'll see you back here for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning.